Hi everyone, I am Donna Reed and this is Donna Reed Talks Voice. And today I'm working with Lorraine. Hi Lorraine.
Hey, Donna.
So tell us a little bit about your singing journey and what you do with singing and what kind of things you sing.
So I'd like to start with a quote from the Italian tenor Enrico Caruso, and this is how I feel about singing. I had always sung as far back as I can remember for the pure love of it. So that's basically my story that I've been singing my whole life. I remember my father singing in church when I was 5 years old. I was not afraid to sing in kindergarten for a show and tell. And I remember at the age of 11, I wanted to sing like Mariah Carey because that was the music that I grew up with. My father, on the other hand, he grew up in the 30s and the 40s. So his musical journey was different than mine. And I was told that I was not allowed to sing pop and R&B if I wanted to be a singer. So he brought me to an opera singer, started getting me lessons, and then one day brought home, I don't know if I can show it from here, the movies of, I guess you can't see it. There it is. Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy from America's Singing Sweethearts from the 30s and the 40s. And I just fell in love when I saw Jeanette MacDonald singing in 1935, Naughty Marietta, the Italian street song, and Ah, Sweet Mystery of Life. And I had never been as moved as I was at that moment in my life, and I cried. It was so beautiful at 14. And so onward, I got my bachelor's in singing. Before children, I was singing in the opera choruses of 3 different local opera companies. And the things I like to sing, lyric coloratura, arias, and like the Jewel song from Faust, Je veux vivre, and now delving into Mimi from La Boheme and things like that. So that
So
is
you
my,
like more on the classical soprano side.
yes, and I love belting too, and I love Mariah Carey at Christmas and everything like that. So that is my story.
Wonderful.
And I'm
Okay.
so honored to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, thank you for joining us and participating. So let's just see where you're at today. I know Lorraine studies with me. I know Lorraine really, really well. So I'm just open to where's her voice today because I know her voice. So I know what the tendencies are, but I don't know what's happening today at this very minute. So I'm approaching her like somebody I've never worked with before. So I'm going to do what I normally do with everybody. We're just going to do those 3 notes on an ooh and see where we're at.
Ooh,
Yeah, nice and easy.
ooh, ooh,
Yeah, easy peasy, and that's a good way to just get going and get started to get your voice going. I almost always start with a head voice with everybody because we speak in a chest voice all day long, and the warming up process is to get the cord stretched a little bit and use that little cricothyroid muscle, which is the pitch regulatory muscle, which pulls the thyroid cartilage, the Adam's apple, forward and down to stretch the vocal cords for higher pitches. That's the muscle that needs to get warmed up. So we want to do an ooh, which thins the vocal cords, helps use that little cricothyroid muscle, and we want to go a little bit higher with it. And then take that down so that we don't have the cords so thick as they've been all day because we've been speaking in a chest voice because we don't speak up here. So that's just the reasoning behind almost always starting with an ooh and in the head voice. But now we're going to go down here with the chest voice. And I'm going to have you do ga ga ga, and whatever wants to move, you let it all move.
ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga.
Good. I'll tell you what, we're going to do the same thing up here and do goo 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 in a head voice and move fast.
Yes. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo.
Okay, now I'm going to try a little experiment here. We're going to go back to the ga 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 down here. And what I want you to do is not a lot, but just move a little bit, yeah, like that. Not over exaggerated, but just kind of get the rib cage moving just a little tiny bit. So ga 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 again fast. Just that little bit of movement.
Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga.
And now do it again here in the head voice with goo goo goo. And again, that little bit of movement.
Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo.
Great. Now, did you notice a difference between doing it with the movement and doing it without the movement? Maybe not. Maybe they were exactly the same thing, but did you notice anything?
I noticed that it seemed like there was a little more room in my throat.
Okay. So what I heard, and it was subtle, but
Yeah.
I heard that with the movement, it was a little bit freer on both the bottom and the top.
Yeah, I
So
could feel
and
that.
these are easy notes for you. So I'm thinking, we're recording this, we're doing that, you're on the spot a little bit. So maybe there's like a little bit of nerves. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to have you move around because maybe the body's like, just that little bit of, I want to get it right. I want to do it good. And, we can't help it, right? So
Yeah.
that little bit of movement helps. So it's a good practice for anybody who's, let's say, warming up for an audition or getting ready to do a performance, or any place where you're going to be singing and be a little nervous. I mean, even just singing, in front of friends. There's always that little bit of, oh, I want it to sound good. I want it to, so just warming up, moving a little bit, or just remembering to breathe and just being aware of what the body is doing, so that the body doesn't really have to, do that little grab.
Yep.
So another thing we're going to do, just to shake things loose and get things going, is you're going to go from one extreme to the other. So you're going to do ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga.
Ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga.
That's it. And just quick up and down. Don't even think about it. If you feel your body's getting a little tight or whatever, we're not going to go high. Just a little bit of movement.
Ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga.
Yeah. And the important thing is to let them be two very separate things.
Ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga. Ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga. Ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga. Ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga.
Now I'm going to back up to this one, do it again, and do the little bit of movement, and let me hear what happens.
Ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga. Ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga. Ga ga ga, goo goo goo, ga ga ga.
All right, I'm going to do it like this. Do the goo 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 on the top, and then goo goo goo. No, change my mind. Just do it with an F and an oo. Foo, 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 foo.
Foo, 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 foo.
Yes.
Foo, 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 foo. Foo, 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 foo.
Good. And as we go further with it, really notice the air flowing with that F. Foo, foo, foo. Just kind of let that air just kind of flow through everything.
Foo, foo, foo,
Yeah,
foo. Foo, 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 foo.
great. Okay. Now I'll tell you what was happening. So when I had you move, we did the ga 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 and we did the goo goo goos and all of that. They were okay and they were relatively free, but especially the bottom notes were a little bit on the underside of the pitch, not really out of tune, but a little bit on the underside of the pitch, which is why I had you move. I said, all right, so maybe the air's getting stopped, the body's a little tight, whatever, whatever. And I had you move, and that helped it a little bit. But then when we did the going back and forth, it was still the same thing. So then I said, all right, we need more of the upper side. So I thought instead of the G, which when you use a G, it can help the more of the chest voice side than the head voice side. I said, all right, let's use the F because the F with that little bit of airflow with the F, that can help the upper side. Once we did that, everything was more on the upper side.
Good.
So we're going to do this. You're going to do it with a fa and do fa, 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 and then we'll hear how that comes down that way.
Fa, 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 fa.
Yeah. And do you notice that's a little bit more on the upper side,
Uh-huh.
even though it's chest voice on the bottom?
Yeah.
Great.
Fa, 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 fa. Fa, 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 fa.
Yeah.
Fa, 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 fa.
Now you see that one was really interesting and very good. What I heard on the top note, and you could tell me what you sensed, I heard a little bit more of a chest voice participation in there. It wasn't just heady, heady. There was a little bit more, there's a little bit of a more of a core to it in a good way. Because once you get to the middle part of the head voice, you don't want it to be so weak so that it just, floats into like a feckless sound. That didn't. Now I don't know if you noticed that. I don't even know if my listeners could hear that. It's a subtle thing. But with the airflow, which usually promotes more of the head voice sound, you still were able to get a nice core to that top note. And then I like the chest voice on the bottom, which was quite good. Now, how did you sense that? It just felt fine and easy and
It felt easy. It felt like a good mixture.
yeah, absolutely. That's what I heard.
I could feel it and hear it. So yeah, I could feel that.
So now let's go the opposite way. So we're going to go from the bottom. I'm going to stick with the fa. Fa, 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 fa. And coming from the bottom may change the note on top. Let's just see what happens. And then back down fa, fa, fa.
Fa, 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 fa.
Yeah. Now, can you do that same thing without any consonants, just on the ah?
Ah.
Great. Let's just go up with the ah and see what your voice wants to do.
Ah.
Yeah. See, I like what you keep coming down to.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Now, it's subtle, but that one I didn't like as well. Did you do something differently? Did you have a different thought? And you could say, no, you did the same thing. You didn't even think about it.
It felt lighter on the top, and I don't know, maybe I just needed more of the mix to bring up a little. I'm not entirely sure, but that's my only thought about that.
Okay, that it seemed lighter on the top. All right, you know what? Approach approach it with maybe a little bit more stuff. Don't be so cautious with it.
Okay. Ah.
Yeah, you know what? I think maybe the one before was just a tad cautious. I mean, not terribly so, but I like this little bit more presence. But now I'm going to try an experiment here. Try it with the
Okay.
fa, and back down with the fa. And then I'm going to try it with the ga, and I'm going to see if those make any difference.
Fa, 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 fa.
All right, now do it with a G, ga, ga, ga. And same thing, let's see what happens.
Ga, 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 ga.
I'm going to add one more thing. Do a GL, gla, 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 and just let it move around.
Gla, 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 gla.
Now, of all of those different ones that we did, with the ah, with the fa, with the ga, with the gla, did you like one better than the others?
I like the ga, and then I think number 2 was gla.
I agree. I like the gla better than the ga, but I like them both, and it was just not that much of a difference. But
Okay.
I like the gla, so we got things kind of moving. So I'll tell you what that I'm going to do with that. We're going to let everything move and jump around. So I want you to do gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
Good. And just let it fly around and go wherever.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue. Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
Good.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue. Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue. Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
And what did you notice with those?
They all felt good. They felt that there was enough space for it in the cavity in there in my
So
mouth.
it didn't feel like anything was shutting down, doesn't feel
No,
constricted,
no.
pretty easy, right?
Yep.
Now I'm going to start a little bit higher. We're going to go a little bit higher with it. Now this is where it gets challenging because as we go higher, then our brains say, oh my God, it's higher. So you just do what you do, just kind of figure out the energy and just let it fly and let it go fast. Don't slow it down.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
Now, that was great, except it needed a tad more energy for the top note.
Okay.
So it was a little under energized. No, and I know you're trying not to push or do too much, but needs a little bit more energy for that top note.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
Like that, like that.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
That's it. Let them all be weird and different.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue. Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
That's it.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
And let it go somewhere weird.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
Exactly.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo,
That's
glue.
it.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
Yeah, even let it be a little screamy.
Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue. Gla, gla, glee, glee, glo, glo, glue.
Well, yeah. And that was the D above the high C.
Oh, nice. Yay.
Yeah. You wouldn't have guessed it was that high, right?
No, I thought maybe it was high C, but I'm surprised that it was the D, and that was nice and easy. So I was like, yay.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So a lot of times with high notes, this is a good example of it. I have to kind of fool people into them because we can't help it. You know, it's like it's a high note. It's like, what do I do? And we want to do just the right energy. We don't want to do too much. We don't want to do too little. But sometimes when you go fast, sometimes when I do a vowel that nobody would usually do that high, because who sings a high C, C sharp D with an E vowel, right? But obviously what you're saying wasn't quite an E vowel, but doing a different vowel like that allows something different to happen. I mean, obviously what you did is you opened it up. You didn't try to make it sound exactly like an E vowel, which it can't, it's too high for that. But in using a different vowel that way, sometimes we can fool our bodies into doing something different, which you did right there.
Well,
Now,
what helped,
one
what
more
you
I'm going
said,
to leave
what
you
helped
with.
was you said even let it be screamy, which I know you mean more chest voice, because in order for those high notes to come out, as you've said in many lessons, is you've got to have a certain chest voice participation. Otherwise, they don't come out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sometimes, yes, you have to almost think a little screamy. Now, that wasn't literally screamy, but when I tell people to think that, then they allow, as you just explained beautifully, they allow the right kind of chest voice to participate on that, B, C, and above up there.
Okay.
So I'm going to try one more thing here.
Yeah.
Now, it's not that high, it's not that low, it's on an ah. And then you come down 2 octaves. Just let it fly, see what happens. Yeah. And that was the G.
Okay, good.
And I'm guessing that felt pretty low, right?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure where I was. I knew it wasn't like high, but I was like, I'm somewhere around the passaggio or above, something like that. So
Yeah, that's great. And usually when a person doesn't quite know where they're at, that's almost always a freer sound.
good.
Excellent. Well, that's really good.
Yay, thank you so much, Donna.
Thank you so much for doing this and participating.
I always say to Donna, going to Donna for a voice lesson, it's like asking the Wizard of Oz for help. Donna knows how to get water out of a rock. She is a superior technician, and it's just a pleasure. I've been studying with you, I think, since 2019, and it's just every time is fabulous. So thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. Thanks for watching Donna Reed Talks Voice. If you have any questions for me about this episode, or if you'd like to join me on a future episode, please visit donnareedtv.com and click Contact.